Sadhguru, two questions. One is that if you had been there with Krishna in the war, would you have required 800 verses and 18 chapters to get him to a state to become active? And the second question is, Sadhguru, that you have awakened the blue consciousness within us, but it will take time for it to fully develop within us. So can you give us a sort of a code of conduct by which we can face the complexities of the world till our own Krishna consciousness develops fully?
So, the first question so, if I was in the battle, one thing is, I would have used that discus very well. They say he was very good. I'm good with the frisbee, you know. I would have used it very well, that much I know. So would you have taken how many words? I'm sorry, you counted all that? 18 chapters, 100 verses,
Sorry,
800 verses,
800.
what else?
18 chapters.
18 chapters and 800 verses. Now, 18 chapters and 800 verses were not all aimed at getting Arjuna to act. Suddenly, at that moment of despair, Arjuna wants to know all aspects at once. Because he wants to know all of it at once, all the aspects he's bringing out in a brief manner and talking about it. To impel Arjuna into action, Krishna would not have needed 18 chapters and 800 verses. He's just… Arjuna is trying to make use of the situation. Krishna was with him any number of times, but he was only consulting Krishna as to how to acquire one more princess that he desired, how to win one more battle, how to conquer this part of the land or that part of the land. This is how he used Krishna all his life. Now in this moment of desolation and almost certain death, now a spiritual thirst has come, he wants to know all the possibilities. So he's asking many questions. So Krishna is being gracious enough to answer all those questions rather than telling him, just shut up and act. Because those days the battle was different. Unless Krishna blows his conch, the battle doesn't start. So he can give the whole 18 chapters to Arjuna and then blow the conch. If you're talking about today, if I was in a battle, I would just kick you in the ass and tell you act, not even one verse because these guys will start shooting before you shoot at them. Situation is very different, isn't it? So if I was in that battle, maybe because that battle is fought by certain rules and with some sense of humanity. It's inhuman anyway, the battle, but some sense of humanity. Evenings they broke off, they treated each other, they partied together and again tomorrow morning they fought. Not anymore, isn't it? So, these 18 chapters and 800 verses are not because of Krishna's inability to convey his message. It is because he wanted to cover all aspects. Oh, there's one more question. What is that? Okay. So, how to go to Bombay and still be blue? That's a question. Your other question answers this. If somebody can be in the battlefield and be blue, what's the problem with Bombay? It's very significant. Gita is being delivered in the battlefield. He is in battlefield and still all-inclusive. You must understand this. Krishna is standing on this side with Pandavas. His own Yadava army, a formidable army, he has given it to the opposition. This is definitely all-inclusiveness, isn't it? Either Krishna must be an out-and-out idiot, or he is definitely divine, otherwise you cannot do this act. Isn't it so? Everybody that you can get on your side, you must get them on your side when you want to fight a battle. Yes? When you want to fight a battle, you want everybody that you can get on your side at whatever cost. You don't want to lose a single man to the other side. Any kind of battle you fight, even if you fight a battle in your own home, this is true, isn't it? Yes or no? Even here, if little food is not good, I will see immediately people are campaigning among themselves, food is not good, food is not good, food is not good. They want to get everybody on their side, food is not good side. Isn't it so? They're campaigning immediately because they want to get everybody on their side before they launch an attack. Now, he goes to the battlefield, putting his whole army on the other side. This is an insane man or an absolute divinity. There's no question about it. So, in the battlefield, having his own army on the other side, and any number of people who are extremely dear to him on the other side, he stands there smiling, still exuding blue, isn't it? He didn't cut it off in the battlefield. Even in the battlefield, still exuding blue. He has no hatred for Kauravas. He has no love lost for Pandavas. He's just doing what he feels is a lesser evil in the world. He's not even saying, this is the greatest thing. He's just saying, whatever is the lesser evil, let's make that happen right now. That's all the choice we have. And still blue. So Bombay is not a barrier, Amla.
Sadhguru, what is Raja Yoga?
Raja means you know what? King. Yoga also you know what? It's a way. Somebody believes their way is king's way. What I see is, anybody, whatever path he is walking, he must see that this is the best thing. If he does not see this is the best thing, he can never walk the path. If you're sitting here thinking there may be some other place where things happen better, it just won't work for you. It just cannot work for you. So, if you pursue a spiritual process, you must pursue it because right now you see this as the best thing that can happen. If you think there is a better way, you just go there immediately, because otherwise you'll waste your life. But somebody called their yoga Raja Yoga because they believe theirs is a king's way. Generally see, different people are calling different things as Raja Yoga. Vivekananda called Ashtanga Yoga as Raja Yoga. The Brahma Kumari Samaj is calling their own type of yoga as Raja Yoga. So, king is the peak of ego, everybody wants to be a king. Yogis also, unfortunately. Like, there are many yogis who did the reverse. There is also Picha Yoga. You know Picha Yoga? That means beggar's yoga. So some people think that way, some people think this way. Some people think you conquer the world by giving it up. Some people believe in conquering the world. It's just a name. If you want… you married? No. Okay, if you get married, you can call your husband Raja. Many people do. Ask Aparna. Not because you think your husband is a king, that's the only way you can become a queen. You anyway treat him like a slave. But you must call him as a king because only then you can be a queen. So, if you like it, you can call it anything Raja, it's okay.
Krishna says that if you do not act, you will harm yourself and it will result in disrepute for you. Sadhguru, I would like to know what is the link between action and reputation?
Don't you know?
Why is reputation… why does Krishna have to bring in reputation for Arjuna to act? Should action not just happen?
It is your duty to fight this war for dharma. If you do not fight, you would have avoided your own duties as a warrior. This will only bring you harm and disrepute. People will always speak about your dishonorable act. It would be worse than death for you to face such disrepute. Brave warriors will think that you are a coward and left the battlefield out of fear. They will no longer respect you. You need to understand, he is talking to a man who is aspiring to rule an empire. He is not talking to a sannyasi. He is talking to a man who is aspiring to be an empire, build an empire or rule an empire. For 13 long years, he's burnt his heart out to get back his empire and rule it. So Krishna is saying, if you now, standing here in the battlefield, if you back out now, people will see you as a coward. Once you see you as a coward, nobody will listen to you. You will have no command over people. Disrepute will come and you will live a bad life after that. Now, anybody who has become a leader of people, one way or the other, not necessarily a king, even if you're running a business, or even if you've built an ashram, in some way, when you're a leader of people, if you back out from action at a certain point because of fear, then your leadership is gone. Yes? It's definitely gone, isn't it so? So that's all he's saying, that you know very well, living in life. Isn't it so? In your work, if you back out from major decisions that you have to make, you are no more going to hold that position, it's over. This is just a worldly wise advice and it's very true.
I wanted to ask about a couple days ago when you brought the stone, the
1 second, yeah.
you call it a Salichi stone.
Sorry, I'm sorry?
The stone that you brought with the spiral on it. Salika. Anyhow, so I was sitting in the front row, and I was very intrigued by this stone, and I wanted to get close to it. So as soon as you said volunteer, I kind of visualized myself just scoot right over there. But something in me just said, no, you're not, basically you're not good enough, you're too stiff, it won't work on you. And so I had this pause where I was like it caught me. My inadequacy just took over, and by the time I said, no, wait a minute, go up there, it was too late. And so I was thinking, like, how many times in my life the fear of inadequacy, not being good enough, rules me. So then I was thinking, like, even when I do things that I think are great, it's probably the same force of trying to prove to myself that I am adequate. And so it's a confusion, like, my question is basically, how can I do whatever is needed? Because I'm either doing too little or too much. And there's confusion of where it's just right. And my second question might be, how can I do lila? Because I've got this investment, and that I can't, they just pop up like that. I guess it's like my tendency, or I don't know what, but I don't believe I can do a pure lila because I'm not free.
Now, first of all, let me reassure you. You said you're stiff. Let me reassure you, you are not yet a stiff. Does that bring some confidence to you?
I feel it in my knees, I don't know.
Okay, we're all getting there, but you are not yet a stiff. And it is, there is something, there is a saying, fools rush where angels fear to tread. So don't do that to yourself in trying to make yourself feel adequate. By performing a certain action, you will not become adequate. You'll always be inadequate. It is not through action or thought that one becomes adequate. One becomes absolutely adequate because he's in touch with a deeper dimension within himself. Otherwise, they have stupid confidence. Confident people are insufferable. Have you seen very confident people? For everything, they elbow their way. They are insufferable, they are horrible, confident people. Diffident people, unfortunate. You neither need confidence nor diffidence. What you need is consciousness. Diffidence is something that lowers the scale of life, the way it can happen. If you feel diffident about anything, it just lowers the scale of life, the way it could have happened, it just comes down. Confidence is a scourge, it's a disease. overly confident people, they're invariably tyrants on different levels. So, what we need is neither confidence nor diffidence. What we need is awareness, consciousness. That's what is needed. But in what way would consciousness and awareness help me to come and grab the soligram in time before hunter comes for it? I don't think she came here out of confidence. She just came, that's all. And it doesn't take any confidence to come to me. Do you need confidence to still come to me? You still need confidence? Oh. When I was… I'm telling too many things about myself. When I was in my… what is this? It is second PUC, that is 12th standard now. It was called pre-university course at that time. I'm pretty popular in the college, not for academic excellence though. But I'm popular because I ride my motorcycle up the staircase and and I spend most of the time outside the classroom, so I know everybody very well. I have a lot of time to socialize. And sport and other things. A big voice in the college. So, in some way, I'm pretty known and people believe that Richard would think I'm very confident. I didn't think about those things, I was just doing what I want and it was going on. In the classroom, whenever I was in the classroom, I was known for asking questions that would demolish the teacher. So I was popular, not with the teachers, but with the opposition group. So when I was in second year, that is the 12th standard, a debate came up. The subject for the debate is… this debate was given by a great poet in Karnataka, his name is Gokak. You must have heard of Gokak? There are Bangalore people, no? You heard of Gokak? Yeah. So he gave a subject. The subject is to solve the unemployment problem in the country, we must close down all the colleges for 10 years. You're supposed to speak for or against. So, I'm not the debate type, any of those things, I'm never there, okay. I've never even seen a debate, it never interested me. We had debates all right on the street corners, but all those college debates, those kind of competitions, I've never even seen those things in my life. Either in school or college, I never went for those things. So this debate was coming and somebody, a friend of mine wants to participate in the debate. He asked me what this, that. So I said, okay. And I was good with my writing, so I wrote down 2 pages and gave it to him, you speak this. So he was preparing. Then he had Richard's problem, confidence problem. So, I read out the thing to him, how he should read it. Then all this… I have a little fan club. So they said, why don't you go? It's best you go and speak. I said, debate, all these things, any competition I never went. Somehow it never occurred to me that I have to go there and do something. Any kind of competition means I was not there, I just did everything for the fun of it. Never went into any kind of competitions. Somehow I just got talked into this thing. I thought, okay, what the hell, let me go and say something. So, people came up one after another, some are speaking for, against. I'm speaking against. So time came up, it's a 10-minute time, I think, 10-minute duration. I just went and stood there, there's a dong, one bell, I'm supposed to speak. I just stood there and stood there and stood there and stood there. I had no confidence problem or diffidence problem, but nothing just came out. I just stood there and looked at the people. All my fans are telling me, come on, say it. I don't know what to say. I stood for a whole 5 minutes there and not a word came out of me. Not a single word. So, after 5 minutes they rang another bell. It was time for me to just walk down. So it was joy for the teachers. And my friends were heartbroken. Why did you do this? Why didn't you say anything? I just didn't know what to say. I didn't have a word in my head. I was not afraid, I was not nervous or anything, but not a single word came out. Then it didn't even bother me, I was not ashamed or anything, but I knew some mechanism in me just collapsed. Something inside me just collapsed and it didn't function. So, I spent a little time looking at this, what is it this happened to me? Because I was not afraid. I'm the kind who can go up and say what I want. I could say horrible things and come, or I could say stupid things and come, I had no problem. But here I had a whole essay that I had written myself and it was quite impressive. But not a word came out and some were heartbroken, many were overjoyed because I'm a little volatile character in the thing. I have made very deep friendships and enemies. That I've been doing all my life wherever I go, actively creating both. So, not a single word. So I really looked at myself, what was my problem? What is it that just sent me blank like this? Then I saw all that the problem was, somewhere all these friends boosting me and all this nonsense, somewhere I thought I will go there and prove something, that I'm going to say something bombastic and really get them. So somewhere within myself I just dropped that element completely, that I have to do something to impress anybody at any time in my life. And the next opportunity I got, after that I never thought about it, I left it. And I went to my graduation, finished 3 years of graduation and I always passed my exams like this. First year, second year, I didn't even go to the examinations. Nor did I go to college. I sat in the garden. I liked the garden. So that's when people came to me and all this, people started sharing their problems. 3 years I sat there listening to people's problems and problems and problems. And first, second year, I have not really taken any examinations, I've just gone through. So when I come to final year, I have 18 papers to do. Continuous examinations. Some days I'm taking 2 papers, one in the morning, 9 to 12, again 2 to 5. 2 examinations. So, I sat through all this and I passed. And they even, in my English literature, they declared I'm standing second in the university. Probably I thought they couldn't read my handwriting. And then the college conclusion day came and something was happening and one of the teachers was trying to say something and struggling and struggling and struggling, mumbling and bumbling that students were all booing him and everybody was bored to death. He was trying to say something but he was going round and nobody understood what he was trying to say. So I just went up and spoke for about 20 minutes. People were all thrilled and all this. I didn't go there with confidence or diffidence. It's just that something had to be said, I just went and said it. When I went there trying to impress somebody, it was a total disaster. When I just went there, what has to be said, you just say it, that's all. Above all, much later, I realized, now any kind of people, any kind of situation, whatever if I face, I don't face any situations. The moment I sit, I just look at them and I don't even have to think that this, that. I just see them as a part of myself. As you would talk to yourself, to talk to yourself you don't need any confidence or diffidence, isn't it? Only to talk to somebody else, you have this problem of confidence and diffidence. Once you're talking to yourself, you can say anything that you want, there's no problem. There is no difficulty in it, there is no greatness about it. Simply, as you talk to yourself. Try talking to yourself, Richard. Why don't you try? You do that, right? When you're driving? Do you feel confident or diffident? Yeah, just that. If you just behold everybody as yourself, no confidence, no diffidence. What needs to be done, just doing it. Once there is a sense of inclusion, awareness and consciousness is just natural. It's only because of exclusion, awareness has to be practiced. People are trying to be aware simply because they're excluded. They have excluded themselves from everything. If they're included into everything, you don't have to be aware. Awareness is life, life is awareness. There is no other way to be. So what's needed is consciousness. Consciousness is not individual. Consciousness is always all-inclusive. If you're conscious, everything is included, you neither need confidence nor diffidence. According to your intellectual capabilities, you function, that's all. To the fullest limit, without any hesitation. I think somewhere along in the blue book that you have slung around your punal, in that somewhere Krishna says, hesitation is the worst of sins. Hesitation is the worst sin. Very strange, isn't it? Murder is not the worst sin, robbery is not the worst sin, rape is not the worst sin, hesitation is the worst sin. Because in hesitation you don't live. Krishna is a statement of life. Krishna is not a teaching. Krishna is an affirmative statement of life. Anything that is not life, he is saying that's the worst sin, that is adharma. In hesitation, you don't live. Isn't it? So, don't hesitate does not mean jump into every pit that you see, okay? It is just that your intelligence is capable of choosing and deciding these things in a moment, whether you need to do something or not. These problems have come because you're such a exclusive character in the world. Most of it you have done unconsciously. A part of your exclusiveness you also created consciously because you thought that's the way to get attention from the world, by trying to be special, isn't it? Yes? They've always, especially in the Western cultures, right from your childhood they're training you that you must be special. Am I special? Trying to be special is the worst of diseases because once you get this disease, there is no salvation for you. Wherever you go, you have to do something stupid to prove that you're special. This is not about being special. This is about being ordinary. You know, I've been telling you, the old brochures used to be like this. We used to say, Isha Yoga, ordinary to extraordinary. People thought if they come to the program, they're going to become very special. After they came, I would tell them, no, you will become more ordinary than others, extraordinary. When there is no effort to try to make yourself special, you're simply ordinary. You will stand out as extraordinary. It's extraordinary. All-inclusiveness is extraordinary. It's just a way of life. It is not something that you thought up as special. When I say inclusion, it is not my philosophy, it is not my ideology, not something that I made up. This is the way existence is, isn't it? It is only in inclusiveness it's functioning, isn't it so? Yes or no? If you're so exclusive, why are you inhaling what I exhale? Try to breathe separately and see. You will be dead. It only in inclusiveness it's happening, isn't it? So when we talk about inclusiveness, we are not teaching you a new philosophy. We're just talking about falling back into life, the way life is, just ordinary as it is. It's ordinary, but it's magnificent. Special and stupid, what's the point? Especially stupid.